Fast sakes, we got a picture for you. Or Fast sakes still reading that letter. We've been gone quite some time though. Either he's an incredibly slow reader, or it's an incredibly long letter. I might even be able to read English faster than he can. Wow. I heard that. I was intending to ignore you entirely. But I can't turn a deaf ear to such an insulting Nipponese. Oh, sorry. I didn't think you'd hear that. I had the case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading them to pass the time. Yes, we heard that your child suffered tomorrow. Which is none of your business. None of your bizwax. So, have you found a lawyer? How many times must I reiterate the same thing? This has nothing to do with you. In other words, no. We were just talking to our star and the prosecutor for your trial has decided. I'd expect nothing else, though I have no idea who it is. It's going to be Kazuma Asogi. Asogi? That made the color drain from his face. Well then. It seems I'm going to engage in conversation with you again after all. Present this. Lord Francis, we came by this old photograph. Where'd you get that? It was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was all lost. Is the man on the left there your brother? Yes, that's my brother, Clint. It had to be, really. Apparently this picture is probably displayed in Greg's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know. Were you aware of that? Respect? That's nonsense. No, we heard someone testify very clearly. Inspector Gino Estrada, no less. Well, maybe once, yes. There was a time things were like that. We were brothers in arms, jovially discussing the future of justice and other such lofty subject matter. That was a nice glimpse of the past. I thank you. I feel as though I got a nice glimpse of the past then too. There's a glimmer of light in his eyes, a brief twinkle, an insight to the true nature of this man, and to all is the stone cold reaper of the Bailey. Oh boy. What's that? I wonder your opinion about the gun? Alright, I get the message. "10 years ago, my older brother, who was the director of prosecutions at the time, was murdered, and the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by when I don't curse the name Asogi. Genshin Asogi was Kazuma-san's father. So what cruel twist of fate is this now 10 years later? The man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court. I still don't understand why Lord Star apprentice Kazuma to you. It's what he does. No doubt he knew the young man's true identity from the outset. But what could he have been hoping to achieve? And let's not forget that it was only 8 days ago that Kazuma recovered from amnesia. Why would Lord Sara assign this child to somebody like that? To use him as a puppet? For his freaking puppet ass court? Asogi. That name is the very epitome of my bane. The bane that is you, Nipponese. Right, your hatred of all of us Japanese. I only just been appointed as a prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother Clint, the director of prosecutions, was hunting down a mass murderer, the so-called professor. Whoops. Assigned to investigation as partner was a certain visiting student dispatched from Scotland Yard. And that was Genshin Asogi? Exactly. I developed a deep respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded and chivalrous in the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of the man. So I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, and any semblance of right prevailing over wrong. Oh, how awful. To avenge my brother, I prosecuted Asogi's trial. It wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but it beleaguered the scribe prosecutor until he consented. What do you mean by the scribe prosecutor? The man in charge of the professor case inquiry, Lord Miles Strongheart. Star was the prosecutor? He was a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Since that time, he's the only person to whom I felt in debt. I'm sure he must have seen your zeal for the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor. Anyway, time passed, but then earlier this year, who should arrive in London but you? And of all things, as a lawyer. I felt your animosity the first time I ever faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious deep loathing of us Japanese. I kept telling myself it was illogical, but for so many years that hatred festered inside me, I could no longer control it. And I can understand why, now I know the history. But in the same way that I long felt the Nipponese to be the bane of my life, to Kazuma Asogi, and the bane of his, the Reaper sent his father to the gallows. He is looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow. But Kazuma actually respects you, fancies. Gregson's transfer to Paris Police Prefecture are finally being arranged for the coming month, but he'll never make it to France now. It's a tragedy. Oh yes, come to think of it, he did mention something like that, didn't he? Yes, he sure did. I wonder, does it happen often? Being transferred internationally, I mean? It's the first time I've ever encountered it. Oh, the Paris police welcoming English detective is almost inconceivable. I can't imagine what kind of magic Gregson must have worked to put that arrangement in place. It sounds like that mystery has even a Reaper perplexed. I'm afraid to say that we were very ignorant about Inspector Gregson's standing. We heard that he was considered something of a legend at Scotland Yard. Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself by uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the professor's identity. If it wasn't for Gregson's singular approach to the case, the discovery would never have been made. What sort of approach? After my brother's life was taken, the inspector pushed for a full autopsy. Oh my, 10 years ago? Why is this so surprising? Autopsy was considered a desecration of the body at the time and rarely performed, and my brother was of course a noble. That made the idea of it even more unthinkable, but something Gregson dug up in his investigations made me determine it was necessary. His powerful confession somehow influenced the House of Lords, and as a result, I could avenge my brother's death. So, he must have had great confidence in Inspector's abilities then. It seemed right inconceivable that he would take his life. Inspector Gregson. About the gun used to shoot the inspector that was found at the scene. Yes, that's not mine. Really? Because common opinion seems to be that it is. What do you expect me to say to that? Lord Sarnia informs us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm. As embarrassing as that is, I'm afraid it's true. When did you lose it then? That, I don't know. Oh, I was issued with a revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. I must have sold it somewhere, I suppose, or left it somewhere, perhaps. You have something in common with Francis after all, Mr. Naruto. A talent for misplacing things. No, just nothing to do with me. Don't drag me into it, but you lost your ship ticket. Don't make the mistake of associating me with this Nipponese. Oh dear, the rift is very wide, isn't it? So it's not decisive evidence clearly, but it doesn't look good, that's for sure. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, that's the first time he's ever actually used my actual name. He didn't call me learned friend. I've lost all confidence in my country's justice system. I don't trust the police, the judiciary, or lawyers. But there's still one thing I'm willing to believe in. What's that? That which you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. A simple determination to know the truth. Lord Van Siegs. From the very first time we clashed in the Bailey almost a year ago now. I couldn't deny it, even though I dearly wished I could. Here is the loathsome Nipponese, who has absolute integrity as a lawyer. There are only two other men I've known with the same look in their eyes. My brother Clint and Genshin Osogi. The man he idolized, the man who betrayed his trust in the most hideous way. When he showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me, you mean this photograph? Back then I was able to laugh. I was free of the shackles of mistrust that plague me now. I look to the future with hope. Since then, I protect myself against betrayal by refusing to trust anyone. But at times, the mire into which I've sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe. I'm so sorry. So, Miss Naruhodo, I want to believe in that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial, will you advocate for me? Of course I will. It will be an honor. I'm so pleased, Miss Naruhodo, that my life is in your hands. For Lord Rance's, that must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask, which is why I simply cannot let the man down. Tomorrow, in the Old Bailey, against my old friend, Kazuma. Wow. Why do I feel like this is the last trial we're gonna do? To be continued. I feel like this trial is gonna be very long, so I feel like it's gonna be the last trial we're gonna do. There's that old familiar feeling again. The crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. Actually, no, it's a little different today. There's even more menacing tension in the air. There's a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there? I suppose. Yes, I think so. It can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. A little more courtesy, if you please. Oh my, I do apologize. However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary. What do you mean? I'm not privy to the details, however. I understand that no jury has been selected, so no summation examination? Damn it. No more of that banger theme. A trial without a jury? Well, that's just like the trial of the professor 10 years ago. A closed court. Good morning, my dear fellow, as your hair is back. Mr. Sholmes. Have you made known of my hair, Mr. Naruhodo? An outright victor for science, you must agree. To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem. Ha! Well, to one man is a little hair problem is to another day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion. You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning. Oh dear, how awful for you. I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes. And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm delighted to see you looking so full of vim. And I see London's celebrated great detective is as active as ever. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagements in a few tribal cases, the Reaper's overbearing presence is a far more greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital. And, while some may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point on which I would readily commend you. What an honor, and that will be your eye for a good lawyer, sir. Mr. Sholmes. After all, behind this lawyer there is a very great mind, my own. What are you trying to say? I wish only that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper. Sorry to barge in. Gina! What's that on her arm? It's the mourning band, I suppose. Father, shouldn't you be... whoops. At the symposium? It's been postponed, so I have some free time. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. I shall be very interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see. Otto. Oh, yes, Gina? Why'd you agree to this, eh? Why'd you take him on? This Reaper blog. Everyone says it was him what killed the boss. I'm sorry, Gina, but I just don't believe that. Well, if it weren't him, who was it? I don't know that yet. I don't care who calls him what. The Reaper's just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. And if it turns out it was him who killed the boss, then God help him. Fiery eyes, indeed. Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing. Eh? At least, that may be some solace to the deceased. Please, Soto. Get whoever did this for the boss. Oh, Gina. I hate feeling this useless, but there's nothing I could do. So you gotta find who done this and make the wretch pay. Counsel for the defense of the defendant court will be such a short make the court around once, please. Alright, then here we go. I feel like they're blubbering more than usual. It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. Lord Van Seeks. Oh boy, here we go. My stomach hurts, but here we go. One who lost his treasured brother to a mass murder. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign court of law. And one who lost the man who helped her escape destitution. All that misfortune, all that pain, on course to collide headlong in this trial. It's time to shine a light on all of these dark events. Oh boy. And whatever truth is revealed, we're going to have to look it straight in the eye. Wow, I really feel like this is the last trial. Buckle up your seatbelts. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct a fair and just trial of the defendant Baruch Van Seeks. Counsels for the defense and prosecution ready to begin. The defense is ready, my lord. The prosecution is more than ready. Oh, Kazuma-sama. I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long, it feels. But I never pictured it happening like this. I never thought I'd be facing you behind a prosecution's bench. The so-called Reaper at the Bailey has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today, we must uncover the truth behind this scourge. In other words, this trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Grex's murder. The truths revealed by those proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions to the judiciary. Accordingly, they are to be conducted as a closed trial, with no members of the public present, by Her Majesty's direct orders. How would that work, my lord? Why do I see people in the background? The burden of all arbitration and adjudication falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, the jury's bench shall remain vacant today. If no members of the public are present, might I ask who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord? They are members of the judiciary, here to witness proceedings and ensure an equitable trial. I'm just picturing the judge to be like slowly losing his memory because he's old. Members of the judiciary. Oh my, this is a very unusual trial already. There is, of course, another unprecedented aspect to these proceedings on which I must elaborate. The counsels for the prosecution and defense are both aliens. Ooh, aliens to the UFO of Great Britain. No, I was just joking. I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. And as I stand here in this courtroom now, I'm quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to Britain. Kazuma? Very well, let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Asogi, your opening statement, if you please. What was an opening statement again? Certainly, my lord. The incident took place on 1st November at just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was a building of flats on Fresno Street on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property. Yes, Inspector Tobias Greg's a name known very well indeed to this court. Not at least for his miraculous resolution of one of his country's grimmest cases 10 years ago. What was that case again? The Professor case. How sure are you about the time of the incident? Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot and all reported at the same time. Yes, so Gina told us too. There are a number of witnesses. I have here a plan of the room. The victim was found curled up in one corner. A Swede that was shot from the pole in front at point blank range and died instantly. How was the range been determined? There are scorch marks around the injury wound. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. But powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, only happens the target is at point blank range. I see, yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, Counsel. The murder weapon is found lying beside the victim. I have no idea how to voice Kazuma. Okay, let's examine this. Autopsy report. Coroner Maria Gori. I see. Victim name Toby Gregson, male, 45, British. Time of death. Why is the time of death blank? Excuse me, Coroner. The time of death is not here. Cause of death. Victim was shot in the chest at close range from the front, resulting in instant death. Scorch marks at point of injury. The bullet exited the body from behind. Holy shit. Additional observations. The caliber of the gun uses matches that standard issue firearms for members of the judiciary. Okay. And have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm? No, my lord. Not conclusively. Bravo, Kazuma-sama, for not trying to use the gun as evidence when its provenance can't be proven. Furthermore, my lord, as I've explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. There is a candelabrum mounted on the wall, and the tip of one of the candles in it was found to have been blown off by the projectile. We noticed that too, didn't we? Yes, that's right. Thank you for the thorough report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. You'll submit the plan of the crime scene as evidence, please. As you wish, my lord. Okay, let's examine this. Okay, I get the gist of it. Is this Fresno Street Inspector Gregson's private abode? No, my lord. The room is rented to a Mr. Hugh Boone, and there is precious little in furniture inside, and it's generally in a poor state of repair. So what on earth is Gregson even doing there? Presuming he is investigating some case or other. When a policeman was informed of the gunshot for the witnesses and rushed to the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and accused standing alongside holding the revolver. He was holding it? The attending officer arrested the accuser. So, the details of the case are clear. In that case, the prosecution would like to call his first witness. A name, please, counsel. Naturally, the accused himself. Lord Van Siegs? As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of office he's taking and will be compelled to tell the truth. Very well. Let the defendant take the witness stand. What was the witness stand again? So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Barak Van Siegs, Old Bailey prosecutor. I presume, Lord Van Siegs, that you heard Prosecutor Soki's opening process. Process? I did. It is alleged that you found at the scene of the crime, and that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this? Yes, my lord. Then I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away. Namely, why you were there in the room on Fresno Street at the time of question, and what exactly took place. I intend to explain away nothing. I will simply tell the truth. I must say, Lord Van Siegs, I never imagined this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come, but since you became known as the Reaper, a part of me has been dreading it. Your formal testimony then, witness? Facts of the incident. Okay. Alright guys, that'll be it for part 21 and 22 of the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. Thank you so much for watching, and this will be cut into 2 parts, so it'll be shorter. And next time I'll see you at Triangle Strategy. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.